Hey, it's Mr. A here for another session of Journal Time. All right, can you please make sure that you have got your journal, some skizzers, a glue stick, a pencil, and a highlighter. Make sure you've got those items at this time. Awesome possum. Then I need you to walk yourselves over to those mailboxes and get the last three papers between the two pink sticky notes. Those three papers look like this. We need a human environment interaction reading page. We need an engage notes page. And then we need this elaborate classify. So make sure you've got those three pages. Great. Last time in our journal, we finished up with talking about climate versus weather, and now we are going to be on pages 13 and 14. So do me a favor and take your pencil and number 13 on the left, 14 on the right. Once you've got those labeled, I need you to head back to your table of contents, and we need to add in these last three entries to our table of contents. Pages 9 and 10 are major latitude lines and climate zones review. Pages 11 and 12 is that suitcase partner project, and pages 13 to 15 are human environment interactions. So please make sure that you've got those written. Next, we're going to take these pages that we just got and we're going to trim off the white space on top of this page. You're going to trim off the white space and this black edge so that this can fit. And then on this page, if you haven't already, we're just going to cut this in half and then either put it back in the mailbox system or share it with someone close to you because we don't need two of the exact same thing. So just pick one, keep it, and then either give away one or put it back in the mailbox system. After we cut and glue those, this chapter 3 is going to go on page 13, and then our little engage is going to go on 14. Then we're going to turn the page, and on 15 will be our elaborate examples. Let's go ahead and do that at the All right, you are doing so good. So we've got our chapter 3 on page 13. We're going to go ahead and take our highlighter and highlight through a couple of important points here. I'm going to read this part of it in my best Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. I hope you enjoy. Human environment interaction. How do people affect the environment? How does the environment affect people? Looking at the effects that each has on the other is another important part of studying geography. I thought that was pretty good, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah, like Terminator movies, haha, strong. Anyways, so make sure that you highlight how do people affect the environment and how do the environment affect people. This is an important piece. So an example of this, if you lived high in the Alps, your house would look different from one in the Middle East desert. In the Alps, you would need a steeply pitched roof and plenty of insulation because it's very cold, neither of which would serve you well near the Persian Gulf, which is really warm. Physical surroundings are important determinants for lifestyle. Go ahead and highlight that too for me as well. The climate has much control over the crops that can be grown. Therefore, the popular native foods are different everywhere. Corn dogs are a very common snack at fairs and malls in the Midwestern United States. They are hot dogs covered with a cornbread dough deep fried on a stick. In the New England region of the United States, it would be difficult to find a corn dog. Seeing that corn, a plains crop, sustains a good portion of the Midwestern economy, it is not surprising where corn dogs are popular. Clothing styles, too, are associated with different regions. Why is silk used in traditional Japanese costumes? Basically, what this is saying is that it depends upon where we live that the weather affects some of the choices that we will make, whether with food, whether with clothing. It all depends on those climate regions. Also, though, sometimes people are not satisfied with the resources of their natural environment and seek to change that environment for their own benefit. Go ahead and highlight that. Damming rivers to make reservoirs, cutting forests to make room for housing projects, and creating landfills for garbage are examples of how people change the natural landscape. Wow, it sounds like humans do a great job of taking care of the earth. Preserving the habitat of endangered animals and town planning to reserve wooded areas for recreation are also ways that people interact with the environment, so they can be positive ways too. Some things that people do are positive and some are negative. The theme of human environment interaction encourages people to study the impact that environmental changes will have on a place and the people who live there. So go ahead and highlight that last part too. The whole point of this next standard is to realize that we as humans actually have a huge important impact on our civilization and the ways around us, but the climate also affects us too. So there are ways that we just have to simply adapt to the climate. Whatever it does for us, we just adapt to it.
But there's also ways that we can modify our environment and our climate as well to make sure that it best suits our needs. So make sure that you've got those highlighted at this time. Perfect. All right, next we're gonna be on this page over here. So if you wanna go ahead and write your name at the top, we're gonna go through a little slideshow here and give some examples. We're gonna write down some important vocabulary words. So I'm gonna need you to pay really close attention in this next video. You got this.